First of all, I don't have music playing, so let's get music going. That should help just a little bit. Having some technical issues here. Alright. Take 2. I am Adaginos, and I am going to be breaking down today the version 3.2 changes for the Zelda 1 randomizer, as well as the Fall 2018 tournament Swiss flags that we will be having, which will, I believe the signups end very soon, early August, I believe, and the tournament starts a couple weeks after that, so be sure to check that out. First off, we're going to check out the new flags that are available in the randomizer. First off, we have Shuffle Dungeon Hearts. What this does is it actually throws all the boss hearts into the shuffled item pool. So the hearts that you would normally find laying on the ground in a dungeon can now be anywhere. This means that there will actually be the opportunity for levels 3 through 8 to contain a floor drop that is an item, such as the wand or the bow. And levels 1 and 2 will now have an extra floor drop, meaning that levels 1 and 8 could potentially contain 3 items or 3 hearts. So you could find the ladder, the silvers, and the bow all in level 1, or you could just find 3 heart containers. It's really all up to the randomizer. Next up, we have the Hide Dungeon Numbers box. Now, this has been split off of the Shuffle Dungeon Start Room flag due to it being updated, which I'll get to here in a bit. Basically, what this checkbox does is it will either allow you to see or not see the dungeon numbers at the top whenever you enter a dungeon. We've also had the ability to now require the book to understand what the old men are saying. So basically, if this flag is on, all the old men, basically everybody in the game outside of the old man in level 9, which will tell you the requirements to enter 9, will all have the same exact text until you find the book, in which case it will revert the text to whatever it should have been. So if you have helpful hints, they'll now tell you the hints. If you have community text, they'll tell you community text, and so on and so forth. Good thing to note, though, is this still does make the wand shoot fire, so be very careful to not get yourself caught up dying in a fire. And additionally, and this flag can actually be turned on along with the Understand Old Men, is the book is an atlas. And what this will do is this will make the book act like a map for all dungeons, which is particularly helpful in a shapes flag, which will allow you to basically not have to find the map, and will tell you where everything's at as far as the layouts go, which is pretty awesome. This also still makes the wand shoot fire, so pay attention to that. We have the ability to have hidden health. In one of Fred's mad randomizer crazes one day, he found the ability to hide your health by changing the default heart color to that of an empty heart. So basically you have no idea what your health is, and he also found a way to remove the low health beeping. So basically you gotta keep track of how many hearts you have, otherwise you may die. And lastly, we have a level text drop down, and basically what this does is this is kind of a quality of life deal where it lets you change what level says. So it could be board, or if you choose random, there's actually a lot of options in there. There's asylum, there's camp, there's a few different other things that it will call the levels instead of level. Next, we have updated flags. These are pretty important. The Shuffle Dungeon Start Room used to just simply change the location that you enter the dungeon to somewhere along the bottom row. Well, Fred has managed to find a way to make that any edge. So any available edge, you can now walk into the dungeon. So if you're playing First Quest level 7, you can walk in to the dungeon from the bottom at the tip of the nose on the very top. So this really brings a lot of new life to the vanilla dungeons, because all of a sudden you can enter anywhere, and it really, while you know the shapes, it completely changes how you can play through the dungeon. So it's pretty cool. Level 9 is not currently changed with this flag. I'm not sure if Fred has any options in the future that might be changed, but right now level 9 you will always enter the same location that we have since the game was released. Allow important items in 9 has been changed now so that it can be selected regardless of whether a level 9 is open or not. So level 9 can now contain important items if you select this, regardless of what you choose for entry. As long as it's not required to enter level 9 itself. And this actually plays into the Swiss flags quite a bit. As far as shapes go, There's been a couple of changes here. Specifically, the algorithm for the map placement has been changed to make the map easier to find. Now, there are a couple of caveats to this, which I'll get in a minute, but basically 1 through 6, it finds a key rupee or bomb drop or compass or map, actually, and it replaces the map without having to go through a bomb wall. 7 through 8 may require you to find 1 additional bomb wall to find the map, and level 9 may require 2 bomb walls to locate the map. Now, this is beyond the start room, so that's 0, 1, or 2 bombs beyond the initial start room. So if you have to like pirouette to open a bomb wall, or you have to bomb a direction to get into the dungeon to start from the start room, that would not count as the bomb wall. Now, there is an exception to the rule, and that would be is if there are no rooms generated by the randomizer that actually contains a drop before a bomb wall in the dungeon. In that case, the map will then be found beyond a bomb wall because there's no item for it to replace the map with so that you can get the map. It's pretty rare that this happens, but it is possible that, say, you walk into level 7 and there just happens to not be a door north of start anywhere, and you have to bomb and there's not a drop in that room. In that case, the map will be beyond a bomb wall. Another important change in shapes is previously that the diamond spiral and corridor stair rooms would never contain a drop unless it was already on the floor. Fred has now changed this so that they can have a drop from clearing the enemies. So especially with the new dungeon heart shuffle, with the boss hearts being contained pretty much anywhere in a dungeon, it's very important that you make sure to clear out those rooms, as quite frequently they do actually contain a drop. As far as some quality of life updates, there is now a summary tab, which allows you to basically see the summary of the major flags that have been selected. This is pretty nice because it means you don't have to kind of go through each flag and see what's going on. You can flip to the summary tab and it will tell you, yes, this is on, yes, this is on, no, this isn't, no, this isn't, its shapes, its first quest, etc. There are now 2 tabs for custom presets on the right-hand side of the UI. This will allow you to, whatever you enjoy playing most that's not one of the current presets on the bottom, you can put the flags in there and it will save it for future use, so you don't need to store those anywhere else. You can just store them on the randomizer itself. And then we had 1 palette removed. It was the Virtual Boy palette. Was removed because it was difficult for some of our players with color blindness to see. So unfortunately, we will not be seeing that one anymore. That wraps up the 3.2 overview. So we're going to move on to the Swiss Tournament 2018 breakdown. Down here at the bottom are the flags. So those are available for you to check out if you want to check those out. So basically, the quick overview, this doesn't have all the flags, but it does have the majority of them. The big ones are its first quest overworld, its first quest dungeons, helpful hints, easy start shuffle, which means you're not going to have those really nasty screens where you start clear up on Death Mountain on A1 or B1 or anything like that. You're going to have a pretty good start. White Sword is shuffled, so you will have to be able, you'll find that somewhere else. So the White Sword Cave does contain something different, perhaps. Ganon is required, meaning that you will need to get the bow and silver arrows. Very important one here is level 9 entry is 5 Triforce pieces, and we'll go over that a little bit more in just a second. Important items are allowed in 9. It's plus or minus 2 enemy and boss HP, and the book is required to understand the old men, hence the hints. So kind of the idea behind these flags, as you can read down here, is that it forces you to make gambles that you wouldn't possibly, normally make, because you only need 5 Triforces. So as soon as you find those first 5 levels, if you find all the Triforces, do you go head to 9 right away, since important items can technically be there? Or do you go check out some other dungeons? If maybe you haven't found 1 or 2 on the map yet, do you take the time, if you've already found 9, to go find 1 and 2 to check those out or not? So it really forces you to make some gambles that you don't normally make just because you have access to 9 earlier. And with the addition of the important items being allowed in 9, along with only 5 Triforces, the logic of the randomizer is a little bit more likely to actually place an important item in 9. My example here is perhaps the raft is in 9, which is required to get to 7 on the coast raft spot, and the bow's there. So you have to go into 9, find the raft, leave, go to 7, find the bow, and come back, which creates a double dip at 9 situation. which, you know, makes it really dynamic. Every seed's going to be pretty volatile in the way that it works, and perhaps you've already found 1 and 8, and you found both of the items there, so every other dungeon that you have only contains 1 item, and 9 has 2. So it's one of those things where even if you're just looking for the bow, is 9 the place that you go look for it, as statistically it has a higher chance of having the item since it has 2 items, but it's also the biggest dungeon in the game. So it's just one of those things that you really have to weigh your options. And then lastly, with the hints being hidden without the book, if you find the book, say, halfway through the seed, how much backtracking are you willing to do to check out those hints that you missed that only may actually give you, you know, the location of the items that you're looking for? So those are a lot of things there that you need to, you know, kind of take them to heart. And we kind of look in here, this is the rest of the flags here. You know, you've got your general cave shuffles. Change secret spots isn't on, so that's not a big deal. But you got your pretty general stuff in the caves, all your general stuff in the shops. Dungeon items are pretty much the same as what everybody plays. There's not shuffled dungeon hearts in this one, so you don't need to be worrying about the wand being on the ground in 8 or the bow being on the ground in 7. It will be either on the floor in 1 or 2 or in one of the item staircases. Red ring and silver arrow not forced to 9. That's pretty normal. Dungeons, Ganon is required. All the other normal shuffles. We got randomized dungeon rooms, which means you can have a room from any dungeon in the game. We do not have second quest rooms on, so you don't need to be looking for those second quest staircases quite yet. But we do have Guerrilla Shuffle, Bomb Man Shuffle. There are money or life rooms, so you will need to look out for those. And hide dungeon numbers is off, so you will be able to see what dungeons you're in for this moment. Overworld monsters are shuffled. Again, that's pretty normal. Bosses, level 9 monsters. This actually can help quite a bit with not having the overworld group shuffle. It kind of lowers the chance that Wizrobes are in 9, which is pretty nice. There is no overworld group shuffle yet, so we don't have Lionels or any of that stuff in the dungeons. No Dark Nuts or Wizrobes on the overworld, which is nice. No second quest monsters, so you're not going to have to deal with bubbles. And then it's just the old man to understand the text. So it's, you know, outside of those 3 major things, which is the level 9 entry, the important items, and the book, it's pretty standard. But, pardon me, those 3 things in combination really create some pretty heavy and volatile seeds. We've seen some people really struggle to find what they need to find. So, and others have just blazed through it because they found the right item first and made the right gamble. So it could be a 40-minute seed or it could be an hour and 30 minutes. It just really depends on what path you take and kind of how lucky you get. There's a lot of skill involved, but there's also a lot of luck. And these flags, as far as like going to the bracket stage, which I'll do a video later for that, it's still 5 Triforces, but some of the other stuff gets a little bit more difficult. So you're still going to have that decision-making tree that you have to, you know, do on the fly on exactly what it is you want to do. But anyway, that is it for the overview. I hope that it's been helpful. I will clip this, put it in the Discord. Make sure to go to the Discord. There's links all over the place for it. Zelda.challenge.com/Z1R2018 Swiss. That is the sign up for the Zelda 1 randomizer tournament. I believe it ends, it's early August is when the signups are over. And then for other information on the Zelda 1 randomizer, I've got a whole list of detailed flag overviews and general tips for all sorts of stuff. If you go to orderofthe8.com/Zelda-1-randomizer, or you can just go to orderofthe8.com and use the menus. There's all sorts of information there. I'll get it updated with the 3.2 stuff here pretty quick, and hopefully that's helpful. So thank you all for watching, and have a good night.